Willpower can quite literally be the most important skill that you ever learn in your entire life. And the reason why is because the more willpower you have, the better your health is going to be. The more wealth you're going to have, the better you're going to be in relationships, and overall, the more you're going to achieve. So before we get started, we need to know what willpower is. Willpower is the opposite of discipline. Willpower is not doing the things that you desire, while discipline is doing the things that you don't desire to do. So this means, for example, you see a slice of cake, you want to eat it. Willpower is resisting that cake, not eating it. While discipline would be, for example, you don't feel like going to the gym, so you go anyways. Now, there are a lot of misconceptions about willpower. Some just say that all you have to do to resist things is to just change your environment. However, that is not true, because if you think about it, if you lock away your console, let's say you have an addiction to playing video games. If you lock away your console and you get the urge of playing video games, you're just going to go grab the console, set it back up. It might be harder. Changing your environment is very good on helping you level up your willpower. However, it's not going to just change how you resist things. The thing that you need to do is improve the skill of willpower, which is what I'm going to be going over today. So we need to think of willpower as a muscle, something that the more you train, the more it gets better. Now, your willpower is not going to be good at first. So you shouldn't try to cut out your addiction or whatever you're trying to resist right away, because if you wanted to do that, you already would have done that. What you want to do is start slow. Start to slowly resist it more. The more you resist things, the more that muscle of willpower gets built up, and next time you try to resist it, it's going to be a little bit easier. This is the best way to cut out any addiction, just to slowly just get better. For example, you go 1 day without playing video games, and then you go 2 days, 3 days, and so on. You just build up over time. That is the best way to sort of just improve that skill. Everyone already knows that sleep is pretty much good for our health. However, sleep is very fundamental for willpower, because the more you sleep, the more mental energy you're going to have. You got to think of it as like your battery. And the more mental energy you have, the more you're going to be able to resist. When you sleep more, 8 to 9 hours instead of 5 to 6 hours, there's a part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex. This part of the brain gets strengthened while you sleep, and that part of the brain is responsible for resisting things. It basically controls your impulses. So that's why sleep is very beneficial, and it also regulates your mood. Whenever you're feeling moody, you're going to fall into the desires of doing the things that you want to do. But when you have low stress, which the more sleep you get, the lower stress you have, you're just going to be more in a calm state. You're not going to react on your urges and desires. So the first thing you want to do is just to increase how much sleep you're getting. You're going to see a difference pretty quickly if you haven't been getting a lot of sleep, because your brain is just going to be finally working at its potential. Your brain's going to be working on your side instead of against you. You need to be mindful. You need to be aware of your consciousness and your thoughts. A lot of people don't have this. Their mind is not on their side. You need to be able to think clearly. Whenever a desire comes to you, you need to be able to think clearly and think to yourself, is this really what I want to do? Most of the time, we can't even trust our own brains because it's not on our side. Our brain, we lost control of it. Social media has control of our brains now, and we need to slowly start to bring our control back so we could be aware of what's happening and aware of how these desires, if we fall into them, how it's going to affect our life. The best way to improve your mindfulness right away is to start meditating. Meditation kind of calms your brain, calms your thoughts, calms your urges, impulses, all of that stuff. You want to breathe in, and then breathe out. Take a long, deep breath. Once you start to do this, you'll see that your urges are in control now. You're finally starting to gain control. You're gaining control of your emotions. You're not letting your emotions think for you. If you're sad, and for example, a lot of people, they like to eat junk food when they're sad. If you start to meditate and breathe, take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out, you realize that this is going to just make you feel worse after. So you'll start to do things that are in your favor. And now, the difference between people who focus on long-term gratification and short-term gratification is huge. Social media has taught everyone to be focused on short-term gratification. This is basically you get dopamine hits right away. Every time you scroll, you get another dopamine hit. And this is not the right way to improve your willpower. You want to focus on long-term gratification, which is why I keep stressing that it's very important to delete all social media, because you can't train your brain to want things in the moment. That's going to be horrible for your future self. You want to train your mind to do the hard things now, so that later in life you can enjoy the fruits that you made. We have to be more present. We have to be focused on where we're at the moment. We can't keep letting our brain just get clogged up, turning us into unconscious zombies. We have to start to take control, let our brains finally think. We have to get all that dirty water out of the sink before it starts to flow clearly. The best way to do this, just to start being more mindful. Just remember where you are, what's happening, and be more aware of the situation. There's two voices in our heads. There's one that works with us and one that works against us. You could kind of think of it as like the angel voice and the devil voice. Now, these two voices, you could pretty much choose which one you want to hear. The bad voice is going to tell you that, oh, just go and do the bad habit, it's not that big of a deal. You need to kill that voice. You need to get that voice out of your head. You trusted that voice so many times, which is why you've done the bad habit that you're trying to quit millions, thousands of times. But once you start to listen to the good, disciplined voice that tells you you could fight it, you're already done with it. You don't need to do it. Focus on your future. Then you will just start to see how much easier it is to resist things. So let that positive voice speak to you instead of letting that negative voice speak to you. Temptations are everywhere, and you need to do yourself a favor and just get rid of anything that is going to tempt you. Your willpower is going to be so much better because you're not draining it out. If you think about having junk food in front of you, your mind is going to be resisting. It's going to be draining that energy. Why don't you just get rid of that temptation? Get rid of all the temptations that's leading you to your bad habits, so your mind is not constantly battling. You can't let this thought of the bad habit sit and circulate in your mind. It's been shown that if you let these bad habits, these desires circulate in your mind, you're going to fall into doing it more often. So you want to get your mind off. Think about something that's positive. Think about a positive memory. Think about your future self even. What would your future self tell you in that moment when you are getting tempted to do all of these bad desires? And the best way to future-proof all of these desires so you don't fall into doing it is have a set plan. Think to yourself, because we get so many desires. We get millions of desires every hour, every day. So think to yourself, when I get this desire, what am I going to do? Because I'm not going to lie to you. You're going to get the desires for the rest of your life, pretty much. These desires, They do slowly fade away, but they don't just naturally go away. You're going to keep getting them. So you need to have a plan. What are you going to do when you get this desire? For example, it could be, let's say you start to think about playing video games. So at that time, you go straight to the gym. You need to have some type of basically defense to these desires. That's going to help tremendously in increasing your skill of willpower. So the next thing is you want to have a vision, and you want to have an anti-vision. So a vision is basically something that you want your future self to be like. And an anti-vision is what you don't want your future self to be like. So a good anti-vision could be you don't want to be obese. Once you have these two visions, it's going to direct your actions. You're going to, once you go into the grocery store now, you're going to know that you can't get this junk food because it's going to lead to your anti-vision. Having a vision, having a goal, a dream, it gives you the motivation to quit all of these bad things, because now you're thinking about your future self. You're thinking about what your future self would want, and if this action is going to lead you to your future self. It's going to help you remember why you're doing this. Your brain is going to go against you. Your brain is going to tell you that it's okay to do these bad desires and these bad habits. So you need to have a why. You need to have a why that just reminds you before you go and do the bad habit why you decided to quit in the first place. It's going to help you stay accountable of yourself. This vision is basically your friend. It's going to keep you accountable so you don't go and do these bad habits. It's going to help you delay gratification. You're going to finally start to think about what your future self wants. A lot of people fall back to their bad habits because they don't know what to do in their free time. Once you finally have a goal, you're going to know what steps you could take to get to that goal, and that's what your free time is going to be filled with. If you still don't know what to do with your free time, I would suggest just learning. Learning is one of the best things, and a lot of people don't do that these days. So if you focus on learning, you're already going to be a step ahead of everyone. I've given you the steps to improving the skill of willpower. Remember, this is a muscle that you work over time. It's not going to be perfect on the first day, the first week. It takes months and years to develop a strong self-control power. If you go over everything I went through though, you're going to slowly start to improve it. You're going to see that you're resisting it better. That is all for this video. I hope it helped. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. See you.